It is 9:31. I'm going to call the Berlin-Boylston Regional School Student Success and Technology Subcommittee meeting to order. We do not have the Pledge of Allegiance on here because we are remote. I hope everyone's okay. If not, I have a little flag that I can grab. You're on mute, Al.
Did you say 9:31?
Possibly, because the September 9 is right below the 3:31.
So
Thank you.
just want to make
Thank you,
sure
Al.
for the record. That's all. Okay. Did anyone else catch that, or is it just me?
I did, but I didn't know if I should.
Okay, good.
Feel free, feel free.
Okay, sorry. Sometimes it's way too complicated being me. Sorry about that.
No. My brain was on the third step down, not paying
Okay.
attention to what I was saying too. All
Thank
right.
you.
So I know the next item is business items, and I know there was a request to take the items out of order. So I give the floor to Joe and Al to kind of sum up some things they've discussed with people in order to allow further conversation for different items to happen.
And I'm going to turn it over to Joe in a second. I asked just to take it out of order because I think some of the information we're going to be able to provide to you after Joe and I met with the admin team might make the agenda go a little smoother or quickly as well too on a Friday afternoon. Joe, you want to go take it over?
Yeah, sure. So as Superintendent Gannon said, we met the other day with the admin team from Tohoto Middle School, and everyone, after a pretty good discussion amongst the group, there was everyone came to an agreement that we felt that it would be in the best interest of our student body and our families if we were to open up the emails for parents that are associated with the students within Power School to be able to email their students within the district. So we would create a whitelist, and that would allow them to email their students for communications as for a variety of methods or reasoning. So what we are recommending is that this subcommittee bring forward to the school committee with the hoping that they would approve us or give us permission to open up this emailing platform for the whitelisted group of parents to email middle school students only, because high school students is not affected by the current state of filtering that's in place.
So Joe,
That's lovely news. Yep.
if I could just add a little in there. So what it will merge all together, Power School and School Messengers. So when you get those messages from me that go out to parents, they go out to emails as well too. That information, those email addresses will be the ones that will be merged together under Power School, and those will be what they're calling the whitelist of parents that will be able to email back and forth with their students. To Joe's point, we did a lot of work. Our admin team at the middle high school, they met with the teachers. They had conversations with them. We met with the admin team, and we felt like this is where we feel that we're in a better spot doing it this way. Not going to move. Not recommending to move at the elementary level. This is just at grade 6, grade 7, and grades 8.
That sounds great. What would be the timeline if the school committee approves it?
So with the school committee, if the school committee approves it, my goal would be to have it in place by September 15th, hopefully sooner.
That'd be amazing. I think people will be really happy. And that's actually when middle school games start. That's like right at the beginning. That's the first game of the season, so that's a good timing.
Perfect.
So-
So I will aim for before the 15th, but my timeline is the 15th.
Great.
And that's our hopeful timeline. That's where our absolute goal is. I might push this a little bit and say maybe we should go with middle of the week of that week, and then if we go with the 15th, people will never be disappointed. I just want to make sure we got to get it in front of school committee and then do the work from there. So just something to think right around the week of September 15th, if we can just say that might be our safer bet, Joe.
Okay.
Cool. I
Just-
appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's why we took it out of order. We did some homework on that, everybody, and we just felt that might ease the agenda a little bit on as well too.
Great.
So
And is that already on the agenda?
Great. Yes, hold on. Let me just, we're still finalizing that agenda. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure. Hold on.
Yeah, I
And Joe,
haven't seen that.
that's
Yes.
Power School and anyone that gets like the snow day, all those email addresses that get, or is it just Power School? It sounded like it was.
So what we're trying to do is trying to keep it as I use the word limiting, but
Yeah.
we're trying to keep it to the emails that are associated with the student that's in Power School.
Right.
So now that it's the start of the school year, parents should be updating their Power
Yeah.
School contact information, and that's the information I'm going to be pulling from.
Okay.
Hi. So, we're finalizing the agenda now. Do we need to bring that to a vote? I'm just asking as a school committee. Do we vote to take it off? Can't hear.
You're muted, Jess.
Sorry, that's why. Okay, I apologize. That's why I was asking when I was muted. Is it a procedural or a policy decision? Because I don't know if I remember voting for that per se. To
So
shut
I'm gonna
communication down
put
in middle
this,
school.
I'm gonna put this through on my agenda. Like, I don't think we voted to have this taken when we made that change.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
So it's more of a procedural
yeah,
update that we can
that I can put underneath the
rubber stamp.
superintendent. Yep. Let's do it that way, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For that agenda item, are you going to list middle school emailing or something along those lines? Or
I can do that. I can do that if you want.
just to alert parents that it's on the agenda?
Yeah. I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
We're just underneath the gun to get it for 5 o'clock, so we're just working on it. So,
For
but
sure,
it is,
100%.
and now that I'm looking at my notes right here, I have that on there. So that's must have been where I was going with that it was just going to be part of mine and not to vote on this as well too.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
And Joe, I
Great.
apologize because I said Joe and I met early before this meeting, and I thought we were going to bring it forward to you guys. But now that I realize that we don't need to, we're just going to let you guys know we're doing this.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, yep. I'm glad that everyone was involved to talk about it and under feasibility and but as long as you can put it as underneath your update as a bullet
Sure.
point or something, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Perfect.
So you know what? I might, sorry, I'm talking multitasking not very well. I'm glad it's only the 4 of us on this right now. I might instead put that underneath you, Joe.
Okay.
I think I'd rather do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do it under technology. I think it fits better there. Okay,
Sure.
and then we can put that there. Okay, sorry, I'm
Talking out loud, that's good.
Yep.
It's thinking out loud.
good.
All right. Were there any other discussions that you wanted to talk about up front, out of
Nope.
order?
I think that
No.
was it for us.
That was
Yeah,
it.
no, because that alleviates the issue of the communications with like the different applications and all that. So
Indeed. Okay.
I'm gonna step out to just work on this agenda for a second. Okay, ladies, I'll be back. Gentlemen,
Thank
sorry.
Al,
Well,
your
good.
camera's not off.
I should be able to.
It's following him. That's very fancy.
There we go.
All right. Well, then, I mean, Joe, you're at the top of the agenda anyway on the business items, but before you talk about anything else, I just want to thank you for all the upgrades and the safety updates that you have done for our district. I know it has taken a lot of time and you know, I wasn't aware of it until my daughter's talking about wanting to get her own computer because all of a sudden her Chromebook didn't have access to YouTube.
Wasn't
and
as fun
everything.
anymore.
Exactly. So that was like a glorious choirs of angels singing. So I really do appreciate all your efforts to get our district safe and our students safe and our staff hopefully less stressed. So I do really appreciate that. And I'm sorry if my frustration with the email last meeting undercut my appreciation for all the time that you've done.
No, I appreciate that. And I just want to say, I didn't take away YouTube, right? So the
Oh,
teachers,
no.
the teachers are still using YouTube as a resource, right? So they still have that. It's just some of the other things that kids were looking up on YouTube are now a little bit harder to gain access to.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's limits within the YouTube.
Yep,
So,
yep.
wonderful. Well, thank you. Any of it, wonderful.
You're welcome.
It's
And-
been like a huge leap forward. I felt like we were very like behind in like a lot of stuff, and now I feel like we're way up there beyond other districts in terms of like catching. I'm really impressed. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
I
My
just,
department and I have been working very hard to
Definitely.
roll
Yeah,
out
yeah.
the changes that you know we want for our students and our faculty and our staff and everyone within the district. And it's there were a lot of changes this summer, and you know
They're erring on the side of like overly cautious, then that's the way to do it. And then if you find something, then you fix it, and that's the right way to move.
and the other part, it was good to have the conversation with our admin team about this, right? So we brought it all back at the teachers. It was all of that. So that was a good piece.
Yeah. Great.
And we're going to title it middle school emails. That's what we're going to put as the topic. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
So I guess, Joe, kind of crossing off some of the other things because of that decision. I guess just the Chromebook safety monitoring, I know that you have enacted it to follow the kids home on their Chromebooks. At one meeting you had mentioned allowing parents or somehow parents to also control some of the Bark apps or the controls at home. And I didn't know if I
Yep.
hallucinated that or
no,
if
you didn't. You're right. You're right on point. It wasn't Bark though. It was through Securely.
securely.
And that feature is up and coming. It's not 100% deployable, I should say, at the moment. We're still working on a few of the back end modifications with the control features. And we're also working on the classroom feature first, and we wanted to get everything built. So we're still building that out, and we wanted to make sure it was right. And then once the classroom feature is done, then we're going to be looking towards providing the district with education, providing the teachers with education, and then providing education to the families on how they can access this resource. So I'm just not there yet. We're still in the process of fully deploying it all out.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. And for anyone that's listening later on, the Securely was to give the teachers access to lock the kids to one website or one app. So if they're working on an essay or something, they're just locked into that one and not going to YouTube. So hopefully that is a tool and not a burden. And certainly I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. So thank you for researching that app.
Welcome.
Okay. Oh, and then I guess the very end of that, and certainly the emailing alleviates a lot of it. But just, I don't know. I know at one point we had discussions in the meetings that there were texting going on, and certainly that was inappropriate. And so then it was going to be through Google Classroom, but then the emails are the issue. So then some teams have moved to like Game Changer apps, which is a messaging app to the parents' emails. So I was just curious if there was like going to be a focus on one app, or yeah, I don't know. Or if that's
So
moot
I
issue.
can't speak on behalf of Julie Lee, our athletic director. And I think if there's a focus on one app, then that would be a discussion that would have to happen with her and what she's going to do with her department and with her coaches.
Okay.
And then on the technical side, I will provide her with any resources and training and assistance that she needs.
Yeah, I think Game Changer is used at the town level for town sports, so I think that's probably why it was defaulted to by some of the coaches. But okay, wonderful. I just didn't know if I had again forgotten the conversation, so thank you.
So is there a way if the sports team has a Google Classroom, is there a way for the parents to get the same information that's available, or that's the problem?
So that would be part of the problem, right?
Yeah, okay.
So our Google Classrooms are solely open to students and people with BBRSD emails or student
The parents can get like
BBRSD
a
emails.
wrap-up email, like one, like I
So
think that's
they
what I
can
get
they
like
can
once a
turn
day
on
or
the
something.
yeah, right. So there, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's something called a Guardian Summary that can come from a Google Classroom. It's a feature that can be turned on by whoever owns the Google Classroom, and that can get shared out weekly. However, the information that's shared out through the Guardian Summary isn't always accurate, and it's always a week old. So it's not like they're getting up to date information. They're getting stuff from the previous week. And it's more or less tied to like assignments or tasks that are being assigned to the kids, and it's more to track that information. So you're not really going to get that information as streamlined as we're looking for. And there are a ton of platforms out there that people use, and like Game Changer or Sports U and all of that stuff, which are school safe. Though those platforms are a little bit more school safe because you can control who's involved. It's not sharing of personal phone numbers or anything like that. It's tied to a name, and then you can have emergency contacts and all that. So that's again, that's something that I'm leaving for our athletic director, and I will support her with anything that she needs as far as figuring out or determining what would be best for our student athletes and coaches and families.
And we haven't had a chance to, this is Julie's busiest time of year, right? Our athletic director as well as ours, right? We haven't had a full week of school yet.
know.
So we haven't had that opportunity to really sit down and vet all that through Julie. So our athletic director, sorry. So that is on Joe and I's list of conversations to have as well too. And probably we'll be ready to look at something like that in the later September meeting for school committee.
Okay, wonderful. I'm glad it's on the radar.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, do you have anything else, Joe, on that particular topic or?
No, I think that, with the conversations that we had with the admin team and the direction that we're moving in, we're getting to where we want to be as a district.
It now sounds wonderful. And actually just something I was reading my own notes. So under the Chromebook safety monitoring, I know you said you were going to try to phase out the BYOB, C in your own computer. Sorry, I have foot and mouth syndrome.
It's been phased out.
Diagnosed at ADHD. So if I say anything, just say Jess, no. So I apologize in advance, but BYOC. Yes, Joe?
So yes, that is something that we as a district are going to be looking into. My goal is to have it in my whatever we decide to do as a district is to get it into the technology strategic plan that I'm in the process of going to be building out and aligning with the district.
Okay, wonderful. Sorry for that Freudian slip there. All right.
Friday afternoon, it's okay.
Yeah, not quite 5 yet though. All right.
Somewhere, right? Somewhere.
Yes, in Bermuda maybe. Discussion, the next item on the agenda is discussion about dismissal app, and this was just kind of start the conversation. I wasn't expecting any, huge research or anything, but I know at the elementary level, at BES and BMS, they use the dismissal app, and so it probably be more used at like the middle school, but even for the high school for like dismissals or out sick or leaving early for doctor's appointments, it is nice because many people have access to the app. So you're not just trying to email a few people or it being missed, or in our handbook, it says piece of paper note handed to the office as of right now. So I just wanted to bring it up in conversation to see if there was any discussion about maybe moving it to the middle and high school as well.
Joe,
So
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
If I could so one of the things that was really stressed at the middle school and the high school, right? Even with this email and all of this that's happening, allowing that to open, admin team really felt the most important thing first, if a child's going home or a child's getting dismissed or any of that at the middle high school level, they really want to do old school still, like, a note to the office, a note to the nurse, and then these emails that can be created or apps that we can create first. But they're really looking for dismissals and all of that to really take place through the main office, so we really can control that. And that's one of the biggest things that was stressed at our admin meeting. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that as well too with you guys.
In the face-to-face interactions and making them not scared to go to the office and not scared to go to the nurse and hand in their note. I think that's a lost art in a lot of ways. So
Agreed.
too much technology is also not great.
That's right. And asking the question like, why do you want to go home? Or why aren't you feeling good? Right? The nurse asking those questions. I got to tell you, and that was a concern the admin team had was like, the first line of defense isn't happening there, right? The nurse was all of a sudden the kids were showing, parents were showing up to dismiss their kids because they weren't feeling good.
I
And
think there's a
nurse-
misunderstanding. So the children don't have access to this app at all. This is a parent run logged in. So this is like if you have a doctor's appointment you have to be dismissed for or late for.
So in lieu of bringing a note in and handing it to the office, you would just use
Yeah.
the app.
It wouldn't be the kids self-dismissing.
Yep. So and I'm sorry if I'm missing this, but that's what they felt like at the middle and high school wasn't happening enough, right? That what Beth was talking about, those interactions, they want to be able to see like why the kids are going home or why they're being dismissed, or have those conversations with the adjustment counselors or with the school nurses or the school secretaries at the middle high school. Does that make sense?
I think we're talking about two different things.
Okay.
So I 100% agree with what you're talking about. So at the elementary levels, we all get, as parents, we get logins to the dismissal app. And so if a child's going to be absent because they're sick, we can upload it before 9 a.m. or whatever. Or if they have to go to an orthodontist appointment, we can say leaving at 10 a.m., returning, or going home bus 5, or staying after school program. And so it's just a very central place that teachers have access to. The admin, the secretaries run that app. So it actually cuts down on the number of emails and stuff. So I think we're talking about two different things.
And do parents put that in or do students put that in?
Parents, 100%.
At the elementary school level, it's parents 100%. However,
You might
you
find
do run into
otherwise.
the issue. At the high school level, it could be a system that kids could get into, right? It's just an app on the phone. It's also a paid service, so it would be an additional cost for the high school to take that app on board. So we haven't looked into it. This is the beginning of a conversation on it. At this time, the high school has a system in place that they feel they are very comfortable with, and it works very well for them. And we don't have, at this time, we don't have a necessity or a reason to bring on that additional cost for this type of platform. However, there's always the opportunity for room and growth moving forward. They have a system in place that works good. I know it's different than the elementary schools, but if we were to look into it, just know that there would be an additional cost to be added onto the high school and middle school.
And I don't think I know we're talking maybe a little different, but really not, but they were concerned about students being able to get into that and send those things and not being going through the office and through the nurse themselves.
Huh. So they feel that they're going to download that app and log in under their parents' login and.
Oh yeah.
Kids, yeah.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
a senior, so I
I'm
You
not
have
there
no
yet.
idea the workaround these kids are doing.
They're
No
brilliant,
idea.
I know. So, all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that did not occur to me. So that's interesting perspective. That's good.
And as it stands now, like if you're being dismissed early, you're supposed to write a note, and then your child is supposed to hand it to Miss Angulo, and then your child goes up to Miss Angulo and she says, "Can I help you?" And they say, "Well, I'm being dismissed early," and she might say, "For what?" And they might say an orthodox. It's like a screening to make sure that it's legitimate.
100%.
And you need the eyes in the actual person there, and that's doing a service, and it's teaching the kids to speak up for themselves a little bit.
In interaction, right? The kids are in their, Jessica, you of all people are in their phones all day long, these kids, right? We're trying to get those social graces with them happening because it's not happening with our kids. And we're trying to just teach them.
No, I have a 3rd grader and a 7th grader who doesn't say much to me at times unless she's yelling at me. So it's good to know that perspective of, indeed, they are very clever with the phone. So thank you for that perspective. And I appreciate the admin sharing that opinion too. So. All right. We all learned something new, right? All right. Let's see. And then just keeping an eyeball on time and respectful of everyone's time. So the current cell phone Massachusetts legislation, I just want to comment that it's the Study Act and it's Bill S-2581. There was a link in the agenda to that. It was passed in the Senate, is now going to the House. The full name of that bill is Safe Technology Use and Distraction Free Education Youth Act, so the Study Act. And so on there, I did have feedback from other schools, and I was actually very excited to finally connect with the Brockton High School's principal, and a very friendly fellow, and shared their experiences. So he started as a principal in January of 24, and then I guess the school committee went out to Springfield and saw the pouches and said, I think this is something we need to do. And so then March of 2024, they started the whole process of having community events, a series of nights. And so they went with the pouches Yonder, YONDR. And so they provided a whole lot of financial support and also support forming the policies. And they said they used their 15-minute video at the very beginning of the forum. They didn't have a panel, interestingly enough. And then they had a few talking points and then opened it up to questions. The video itself included some of the information and then some student testimonials. And then, like I said, they opened up to parent questions, which I thought was really interesting. He stressed that it wasn't a ban. It was very important, the verbiage of cell phone free. So put the focus back on education. And so he said it did increase their interpersonal skills of the students. Their conversational skills went up, not just peer-to-peer at lunch, but also student to teacher during classes. Interestingly, he said there was a 50% drop in skipping class. So kids were no longer texting each other to meet in the bathroom. An interesting, their district is much larger than ours, 4,000 students in their high school alone, and it's 9 through 12. But interesting, they also had electronic passes that had a timer on it, which probably also contributed to their drop in skipping class. So I just thought that was very interesting. Some things, again, I'm not a teacher, I'm not an admin person. So I'm just going to try to fly through that. And so he did say it did increase their performance, their academic performance. The AP placement tests actually increased 12% passing scores, slightly improved their math MCAS scores, but he felt that they didn't see an increase in those scores because it was the first year, didn't count for graduation requirement for them, but also said, it will take about 3 to 4 years to see the fruit of their efforts. I asked specifically about the communication because I know the email issue. And so they said they did improve the website and had phone numbers listed everywhere, which you guys have already done with your communication plan. And then, of course, the big issue of parents not wanting kids without being able to contact their kiddos during an emergency. He said, the police were concerned about misinformation going out, also causing safety concerns about like a cell phone going off, ringing in the middle of a lockdown, and then also jamming cell phone towers. But again, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But it was something that he had mentioned. And so I asked him specifically what they did for emails, and it was really interesting. Again, it's 9 through 12, but they don't allow emailing between the students in their emails, and they actually have it open to the outside. So I thought that was really interesting, and I guess that was to cut down on bullying and fights. Again, eye-opening. And I did reach out to the middle school principal of one that he suggested. I've not heard yet back from her because I was inquiring about emailing, and they have a policy similar to ours where it stays in the backpack. But it's cost. So they have 7 middle schools. So it's a cost thing. And so I asked, just what the price was. And for the Yonder pouches, which are the ones they went through, it was $30-$40 per pouch. And then some more money for the additional locks to unlock. So for 4,000 pouches, it was $140,000, which obviously scale that. We can always do the multiplication later. But then there's concern of like, how do teachers take, kids take pictures of stuff and upload it to the classroom and everything. And so some teachers for some projects could request a lock to unlock their phones for that period. So they could work on the class project, and at the end they would relock them. And then of course IEPs and 504s who have access to their cell phones for those purposes, they use Velcro pouches that look the same. And so they can more easily utilize those throughout the day. And so that kind of flows into the next topic. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep an eye on the time. So the community evening event proposal kind of falls along what the Massachusetts Attorney General cell phone and social media and schools toolkit. I've mentioned it, all the other subcommittee meetings in the past that we've had for student success and technology. It is available online. But part of that is to form a new norms cell phone community norms. It's part of their toolkit. And so also I know Lisa Sequeira had read Anxious Generation, and she had sent a newsletter out about it, and probably about 3/4 of the way done with that. But it's with the data and the concerns, it talks about, different norms. And so the why I really wanted to be on this agenda and try to get it for discussion on the 9th is that a lot of 5th grade parents fall to peer pressure saying everyone else has a cell phone. And so by having that discussion saying, well, no, let's create new community norms. There's the wait until 8th, which I've mentioned on prior meetings too, which is a pledge for all parents to really try to wait until the end of 8th grade to give cell phones before high school. And the reason, the timing of that is the frontal cortex and the development, maturity, and some executive functioning to allow their brains to develop before handing them this little mini computer that they have access to everything on. Also, if you've listened to the Anxious Generation book, he also has no social media to age 16. So, I think it's really important, it's part of the Attorney General's toolbook too about social media, to really kind of tell them about this toolkit, that this is information that is affecting their kids' development, their mental health, and their academic performance. And so again, just want to try to get some of that information out. Kind of the third and the fourth thing for the Anxious Generation and also within the toolkit is phone-free schools. And so that's under our purview. And certainly there's legislation coming down the line. But I think it'd be good to get some buy-in from the community before that legislation comes through. And the fourth thing is just increased free play and independence. So our kids are controlled in a lot of things they do. And so there's a lot of data saying that they are not having enough independence to form less anxiety. And so this is where the Let Grow movement comes into. And so on this community evening, I was hoping to assemble a panel. So unlike what Brockton did, so have a pediatrician or a family doctor, have a therapist, have a student counselor, the administration if they want to participate. Certainly, I know John Campbell has very passionate about the data really supporting that cell phones are bad for kids. And again, Lisa's, had that newsletter on the Anxious Generation. So, and then parents participating too. So at BES in February, there was a grassroots effort from the 5th grade parents of last year, who are now 6th grade parents, saying there's online bullying, there's cyberbullying, which then prompted an evening with the police. And then we had the unfortunately not well attended event with the Attorney General in April. But my hope is that we could assemble a community night. And I know we have a lot of events for this fall, but I would like to try to at least discuss it at the full level to get a rough proposal, what we want, what we'd hope for, what we're aiming for. maybe Joe, if he feels comfortable, talk about the Bark app or, you know, I know that as a parent, you also are fairly strict on your technology with your children too, that you've mentioned. So that's the long and short of it, said very quickly in the effort of time management. You're muted, Al. Sorry.
If I could just comment in a question, the comment would be, I reached out to our school physician, right? It might be someone you might want to add to that panel as well too.
Yeah.
And the only other part is, we've done these before with, in previous districts I was in, like, the one thing I think we always need to make sure, like, what is the exact focus that we want? Like, what is the outcome, or what are you looking for? Or what information are you trying to give? So that we're just not all over the place in terms of that. Because we've done some, not here, in other districts, that it was like, okay, too much, too wide, as opposed to really narrowing it down to like, what is our point we're trying to drive home or be able to deliver to our parents? So just food for thought, that's all.
Absolutely. And I was trying to find a good video that had Jonathan Haidt on it, that was apolitical. I've yet to find it, but you know, something to basically sum up the dangers and what kind of those norms that we need to do. Certainly the Mass General, you know, Attorney General's cell phone and social media toolkit is really useful too. So they might have like a very short video as well. I wasn't able to find that yet. But I was hoping to follow a similar form as they did in Brockton, like have that like 10-15 minute video in the beginning to kind of sum up why we're here, why we're concerned, why it's affecting our kids, why we need to do something about it, and that we as parents can do something about it, but we have to do it as a collective. And then, you know, not necessarily have each of the members on the panel say anything, you know, in great length, but be there to kind of field questions or guide discussion with their own expertise individually. So it's hopefully evidence-based as much as possible.
I'd say back even to the district attorney's office on that presentation that he did himself with the high school and middle school kids. You know, kids have their phones, but we know at the high school they're going to, but being able to put them away when you're driving, right? So it all depends how far you want to open this up, right? He showed some powerful videos that were really, you know,
Yeah.
but so it all depends how far you want to open this up for our families as well too. Just giving you stuff to think about.
Well, indeed, and maybe parents will ask about that and have those concerns, and certainly we can bring that link up again for, you know, the online parent event that unfortunately was kind of not attended to.
And I know Julia Baranowski, who works for the district attorney's office, that did it for us. I'm sure she'd be glad to come again. And I have her contact information if you need that as well too. I'm getting really old because she was my former student, so she's incredible and will do a great job for us as well.
That would be a wonderful resource. Awesome. Yeah, I'll ask you for her contact. Awesome. Yeah, and I think the reason why, again, I'm kind of pushing the timeline is because you don't realize it until it's too late and you've given your kid a phone and the Pandora's box that you open up. So certainly, like, you know, my child's in 7th grade and I gave into the pressures in 5th grade because she was being left out because of all the online discussions that she was missing out in. But looking back, I wish I didn't, you know, and certainly for my second kiddo, I will change that. And again, it's parent choice, but I think it's important to let people know what's waiting with cell phones in middle school and how it affects development and why that legislation is coming through. So
we believe as an admin team that the hardest sell will be parents, right? About the cell phones, right? And convincing them that their child shouldn't have a cell phone and shouldn't be bringing their cell phone to school. And the one thing that they brought up in the high school is, especially they see more when there's a second child or your third child. The first one they're holding out a little bit longer, but the second one and third one is sort of like just happening, right? So I'm just giving you facts that we've talked about.
yeah, interestingly enough, the Brockton principal said that he got no parent pushback about the pouches, which I thought was really fascinating. And honestly, I think the newer set of parents that are coming up to the middle school, and now with after the anxious generation, and we're kind of learning about, you know, the psychology behind all these apps and everything. I hope to be pleasantly surprised with where parents are coming from. So, but yeah, so I did a lot of talking too, but I don't know. So, yep. So, I mean, the long and short of it, like, why are we talking about it on this subcommittee? It, you know, 2012 academic achievement dipped for our students, right? And also, you know, a scary statistic, 25% of American teenage girls have made a suicidal plan. So, you know, these are things that affect our children, and we can, now that we know about this, we can act, you know, if we so choose as parents. So. Yep. Anyone have anything else on that one?
I would just be wary of the timing when you're going to provide an event like this for families, right? You want the biggest buy-in from them, and you want them to give it as much attention as possible. So we just want to be aware of that
They
when we're
get
trying
their
to pull them out
attention
of
one time.
Yes,
Right.
no, I know. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even if it doesn't happen in the fall, maybe it happens in January when, you know, all the, you know, holidays are over and we can kind of come out anew on the other side and think of it. But I just would like to have the planning process in place and have the people and the video and everything agreed upon. So, you know, not to delay it even more.
And to assemble a team that's going to present, right, and making sure, like, with the message as well too, right? Sometimes you have a couple of people that might feel differently, right? And so, like, I haven't respectfully had that conversation with our school physician yet, right? And so having all of these people and making sure, like, what's the message we want to deliver, as well too. So just something to think about.
Having differing opinions is not a
That's,
bad thing
yep,
too
yep,
for a
agreed,
discussion. So
agreed. Yep. But
I honestly think, I think a good time to do it is in like the spring, towards the end of the year, as people are starting to think about transitioning to Tohoto. At least what I saw with my kids' grade, that was the triggering point of getting the cell phone. So if you can catch people towards the end of the year as they're starting to, they're really thinking, my kid's going to Tohoto, and you catch them and you say, hey, I strongly like, I hope that you'll reconsider. I hope you'll take all this information and make your most informed choice before you do this. You might get more attention that way.
agreed, agreed. And,
yeah,
and
and that's why January or
Yep.
after. Yeah, I
And-
know we
and the-
caved in March, so
The other thing, and I would be remiss not to say this, there is some benefits, right, of having your child have a cell phone, right? About picking up in locations and all that stuff. There is the benefits of that. You know, there's safety with that as well too, right? God forbid you need to get a hold of someone, you know, walking home or at the bus stop or stuff like that. So I think we'd be remiss if we didn't add that piece of it as well too. So there are some benefits of it as well.
for sure. I guess I should have said smartphone.
Yep.
So certainly there are thankfully a lot more options on the market now for a dumb phone. And then some people are even going back to house phones too. So so absolutely we have to make that caveat of it's smartphones, not just cell phones. So
Good.
Mhm. All right, I know we're at 4:15, so I'm gonna be short and sweet on the last event, if that's okay, so we got an email. I wasn't sure if it was phishing attempt about an artificial intelligence summer program that they wanted to have at, you know, our school, and I guess the whole school committee got it, but I had forwarded on without clicking on links, of course. But I did Google them, and it does seem to be legitimate. But I just kind of wanted this to be, again, another starting point of a conversation. So, you know, so the internet is a tool, right? Cell phones used to be a tool, but now they're addicting. So AI is certainly something that is more pervasive in our lives now. And so having the kids use it more safely, or, you know, have knowledge about it, is important. And so that actually led me, Beth forwarded a news article that then led me to see that DESE had has a multi-year AI roadmap through their Office of Educational Tech, or Ed Tech. And so in 2024 of August, they assembled a task force. And so they now are, this last spring, they assembled AI literacy, I guess, guidelines, and then also guidelines and policies. They have yet to address the student data privacy concern. And for the school year of 2025 and 2026, there's workshops and trainings, tool recommendations, policy, and then eventually curriculum in 26-27 school year. But I was not aware of all that. So it seems like DESE is on top of that. And so that was awesome to hear that those are in the works. So certainly that's something that we could always look into for a summer camp, but it sounds like it will be eventually in the Massachusetts curriculum too. So, I know, unfortunately, we did have to cut our technology people and our librarians. So that was unfortunate timing. So hopefully in future budgets, we'll be able to bring them back. But I think that is something it's important for our students to learn how to use responsibly, because there definitely is AI psychosis. There's apparently people having AI girlfriends. And so it's a very interesting place our society finds themselves. And so giving our students the tools to avoid the pitfalls would be great. I don't know. Joe, you have anything to add on that?
No, I mean, I've been monitoring what DESE's been putting out. They've kind of slowed their progression a little bit as they're working through the student safety portion of it. But I mean, it's coming. It's all about education and how to use these effectively and what you can do from it. There's a ton of platforms out there where you can build your own AI bots and different things like that for data mining and all of that. So it's coming. I mean, it's coming fast, but staying on top of it is going to be important.
And just to the point of that, like my daughter's a teacher in Waltham, right? She's showing me that some of the work that we've spent hours upon hours creating some lessons and think like it's amazing, like some of the things that teacher time, right? In coming up with some things that are, so it is a helpful tool in some respects as well too. So it's all of that. It's not going away, right? So we got to figure out how we're going to make the best of it for some of our kids and for some of our teachers as well too, because it could be a huge curriculum tool as well.
Absolutely. And so I want to make sure that we don't miss those workshops and trainings that are, if our teachers want to participate in those or even a future classes. But yeah, again, it's like learning how to use it as a tool, but not affect your intelligence. Because there are a lot of studies coming out that users of AI actually lose some of their intelligence along the way if they use it in certain ways. So.
That article that I had sent you about, it was a Mendon opt-in that had like put this program in place, and they were using it as like a Kickstarter for like a roadblock when you were a writer's block. So they were using it as a tool to kickstart their writing, and it was a special program that they were using. Sounds super interesting. I don't think we're there yet, since they haven't put the safety in place to make sure that our students' information is not being compromised, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. It sounded interesting.
So what we have done as a district through the new app that we rolled out securely, there are AI restrictions put in place to whereas what the students put in and what they get back. So it's going to support it's right now we're building it out still, but it's going to support the classroom side. So if a student was to put in I need a 5-paragraph essay on an event, they're not going to get the essay. They're going to get highlights and features, and the student will still have to write the essay.
They're gonna get a hint.
They'll get hints, right? So they'll get supports, and they won't get the answer.
That's great.
And that's a useful, safer way to use the tool. You still have to use your own brain. So.
Hey, Jess, could I ask you if we could
Yes.
go, I know it's subcommittee function summary, but if we could go to schedule monthly meetings next, only because I
Yeah.
need to go to then step out and help out Jen to post us the link for the school
agenda.
committee meeting that's due in
Yeah.
a half hour. So I'm
Yes.
trying to be mindful of
Yeah.
that as well too. So sorry.
No, absolutely. Yeah, because Beth and I can, discuss alone. So the budget subcommittee had proposed to do their meetings the 1 week before the regular scheduled meetings. And so I really liked that idea of having a distinct week so we don't kill you all at central office, all having meetings the same week. And so I was thinking the week after meetings would be a great place to land if anyone has any thoughts on that. I just figured use the momentum of the full meeting as a launch board, or I don't know.
And I think it'd also be important for our community, like we know, like the third Wednesday of every month, and if we just post those, and if we
Yeah.
don't need them, we don't need them, right? We just put them on our calendar, and if Jessica and Beth say we don't need them, or if there's something you do need, then I can say it's involving the elementary school. So John and Rob, can you join us for this one? And I'm going to talk to school committee about this on Tuesday, like working point people. Joe's the point person for this committee. Aaron's a point person for technology. So this way you can create the agenda together and making sure we have the right people coming to these meetings and that it's easier for calendaring with all that. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that on Tuesday as well. But yes, if you have a set time and that's not all bundled up like it is this week for us, and then trying to get together for a school committee meeting on Tuesday would be great for our end of it as well too.
Yeah, and I apologize. Just didn't want to miss another month.
Nope, I get it.
So, and the timing too. I know Friday afternoon is not ideal for everyone, but at least it wasn't last Friday, right? So
Yes.
in terms of the week after full meeting, and we're all on here, what are people's schedules? I know that Joe is often limited in the afternoons, and then I'm limited in the mornings, and Beth's limited on Fridays when my day off, or work from home. So anyone want to throw a time and a date out there and we'll see if it works?
So can I propose something like the budget's doing during the day is like if you needed to capture a principal or or even this way right here, is it any way possible you could do something during the day?
Could we do 10:21 at like 1 o'clock? Jess, what time are you done?
I would be more comfortable with 1:30 if that works for everyone, just to buffer
Yeah,
emergency.
is that, Joe, is that good for you?
If it's Zoom, definitely, I'll definitely be able to. 1:30 is great.
Can we do a
I can make-
compromise? Is there any way you could do like a 1:15? And I say that only because give you a solid hour before dismissal starts happening at Tohoto. So if you did like 1:15 to 2:15?
And we're
That
talking about
works.
Thursdays? Are we talking a particular day of the week? Sorry,
I had just said 10:21, but
sorry. Okay.
for that particular week, I would not be able to do the 23rd or the 22nd. I could do the 20th at any time.
Okay, so you want to skip next week, obviously, because we just did it. I'm sorry, do you have the full committee
I
calendar?
said, I have my phone in front of me. So the next school committee meeting is 10:14. So you would want to do the week of 10:20. I could do anytime in 10:20 or 10:21 in the time frame that we were just talking about, the 1:30. I cannot do the 22nd, the 23rd, or the 24th.
How's the 21st? I'm looking at my calendar. Sorry, I'm turning my head.
Sorry, me too. Yep,
21
sorry.
work at 1:15.
I
Uh,
can do that. It's up to Jess.
Give me
Jess,
one
does
moment.
that work for you?
I think so.
Why don't we just tentatively put that in there, and then we can, if it,
Do we want to stick to Tuesdays then? Is Tuesday better for you?
it's just that week I had a bunch of specialist appointments with the kids, so I couldn't do the
Oh,
other
yeah,
days.
yeah. No, totally.
But
No,
this way,
yeah.
And then I think November, you might have to skip because it's too crazy.
but if you do like the 1:15, I'm thinking like we might want Julie to come to our athletic director, sorry, to come and talk about some of that stuff. If I
Yes.
have her at 1:15, I can get her out of there before our practices and games start as well too. So that's why I'm looking at that sweet spot of that time if that works.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the other proposal was 2 weeks before the meeting, but I don't, like between, so like if it's, so that would be the 30th. I don't know.
That's that you're getting into the superintendent search semifinalists interviews and stuff like that. I think I would stick with that week in October, because anything after that, you're getting into all the superintendent stuff. I don't know that we would have time to meet again until December, to be honest with you, when you look at Thanksgiving and all the superintendent stuff. That would be my suggestion.
Mhm.
Or we can release Joe and Al and work on this more later. I feel like they need to get
Yeah.
more.
Okay, but
I really
Tuesdays at
need you to step-
1:15 look good.
I really need you to step in with Jen if you could, Joe.
Yeah.
Totally. So
I'm looking at my
Tuesdays,
time.
yep, no, totally. But Tuesdays 1:15 looks good to you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Giving you an hour, that 1:15 to 2:15, I can have principals there if you need them, if you need the athletic director, like all of that works out for them. And if we do it by Zoom, I could have my elementary principals jump in if need be. So this way, I'm just trying to make it work for everyone's schedule.
Yeah, no, totally.
And
Sounds
the other part, if you do it like a 1:15, if that works for you, if you say an hour, then that will hold us to getting everything done. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be right in. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
We're
All right, I
crunched
just-
agenda. Sorry about that.
Totally. No, if you can just the middle school emailing under Joe, just
Yep,
if-
already,
if
we're
sure it's
gonna
on
do that
there.
as we speak. Yes.
Wonderful. And
Okay.
and then yeah, I guess I'll do it under my summary of our meeting. So okay.
Okay.
Oh, and so I will try to submit the meeting minutes so we can approve them on Tuesday too.
Okay. Is that gonna go in by 5 o'clock today?
So I will type very quickly,
Okay.
but yeah, and then we can vote on it.
Okay. And if it doesn't go by 5 o'clock, can that go in on Monday for you guys?
I mean, if I have access to drop the document in over the weekend, I feel like bad. I don't know if you can double check that I can drop something into the drive. I
If
don't
I
know.
don't get off this call, we're not even gonna have a school committee because I won't make it by the 5 o'clock by.
Okay. All right. See you
Tuesday.
later.
So get
Thank
off
you.
This call, okay? I'm sorry. Thanks.
No,
everyone.
no. Thank you. I
Okay.
guess Joe hasn't ended our meeting yet, so we'll continue briefly.
Okay.
All right.
You want to do the function summary?
Yes. So where is it? Sorry, let me open the Word document.
So I liked the email that you sent. Underneath the notes, there was like one line that I thought if we could work that in might be. So the notes were what you weren't sure about. That was what you originally like put in to see.
Oh, yes, I used AI. Look at me, proud person here. Yeah, just because like what type of, I wasn't sure where to start.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of notes that were created, and so I kind of cherry picked what I liked. So I'll just read it out loud for the sake of the meeting, and then we can go from there if that's okay.
Yeah.
So the BBRSD School Committee Subcommittee, which I didn't have, so we'll add which subcommittee is, aims to facilitate collaboration and communication with staff, parents, and students to improve student learning, engagement, and academic and personal success while encouraging responsible and ethical use of technology. Lots of good keywords there, huh?
Yeah, I think that's solid.
What
I
did
did
you?
like under the notes where it said helping to implement and refine strategies that integrate technology into the curriculum and school operations to boost student achievements across all levels. I thought that was,
Oh, just grab that whole sentence?
yeah, if we could, I was trying to see if the budget subcommittee had been posted yet, and it was not, because
How many
at the very
times?
end of that meeting, it
'Cause you
was
said
like, it was a blurb. My brain, I cannot remember. It was all verbal. It was a blurb, and then there was 3 bullets, and I thought
Yeah,
something.
I mean, I think we could probably format it.
but it
later.
was, yeah.
Hey, can I jump in for 1 second through the chair, just for one piece? I know you talked about before in this budget, this technology. So Berlin Insurance Group donated monitors. We
Oh.
we talked about that, I think, in this grouping or not, but I have to get it on the agenda. You haven't talked about it. So Berlin Insurance Group donated monitors.
Wow.
And I am going to tell you, Joe did not mention this to you guys, huh?
No.
Not that I
Monitors,
recall.
as in, can you explain what you mean by monitor?
Sure,
You mean those
monitors
fancy new
as in
ones, or-
computer screens, computer monitors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you remember, were you part of that conversation, Beth, at all?
I don't think so. Doesn't sound
Okay,
familiar.
so they donated some monitors. We're gonna bring that up at school committee meeting, and I want to put it on the agenda so we can accept them and use them. So I'm telling you about that right now, sorry. But if I wait another month, then we won't be, I feel like we can't use them until we officially accept them through school committee.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. So
I'm
you want to
telling
put
you
it as
about
a
this-
vote to accept it, then,
Yep.
that donation?
So I'm gonna put it under the Director of Technology, middle school emails and Berlin Insurance Group monitors
Super.
for the school committee meeting on Tuesday.
Okay,
Great.
I'm sharing that with you now, and I'm hoping I can put that under all others through, right now, through the chair, just all other information that can be shared with you as well.
Great.
Okay?
sounds
that
good.
work?
I will throw that on at the end for future topics of discussion.
Can you just put that maybe in your minutes as well, too?
I will, yep.
Okay,
at
appreciate it.
the
I'm
bottom.
heading back out to get this stuff done. Thanks,
All right, but
guys.
you're putting that on as a vote
I'm putting
then?
that, not only am I putting it under Joe, but I'm gonna put it in as a vote as well, too.
Okay, I just want
So
to make
we'll
sure
give you-
I got all the
Yep.
documents and all that.
Yep, Joe will give you the whole rundown on that and stuff, but if I wait another month, then we won't be using them until,
Hitting them. Yeah, 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 absolutely.
okay? Thank you.
Wonderful news.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so you want to include that whole second sentence. This includes
Hey,
that for, is
Is
that
it
what?
do you think it's repetitive? I just thought that was. I like to like the refined
Yeah.
strategies and integrate, and that all of that seemed.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was too technology heavy or, but I mean, it's impact, that would be student success, so.
Um,
Yeah, we can, I can include it in our minutes and we can talk about it. So, okay, so the BBRSC School Committee Student Success and Technology Subcommittee aims to facilitate collaboration and communication with staff, parents, and students to improve student learning, engagement, and academic and personal success while encouraging responsible and ethical use of technology. This includes advocating for equitable access to technology, evaluating its impact, and helping to implement and refine strategies that integrate technology into the curriculum and school operations to boost student achievement across all levels.
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's too, I don't think it's too repetitive there.
Yeah, I like that.
You wanna? All right, yeah, I will include that at the end of our minutes that I will quickly type up right now. Wonderful. Do you want me to send that to you so you can look at it rather than just listen to me?
No, it's fine. I have it printed out. I've got notes on
Okay.
it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, wonderful. Okay. All right. I think, is there anything else that I forgot?
I don't think so, unless you want to calendar out farther than 10/21 and propose them.
I know there's a lot of November dates.
Yeah, I feel like I would my suggestion would be just skip November, go back to December. But then even so in December, the way the meetings lined up is that the official school committee meeting is December 9th. The as needed meeting is the next week. So if we if we were to use that as needed meeting,
It'll be right before.
yeah, and then the next week is Christmas week. So my
Indeed.
suggestion would be maybe we do again 12/16 at 1:15, assuming as long as there's no school committee meeting. But again, maybe you're running into the holidays and
Yeah.
unless you want to do a different day of the week versus sticking with Tuesdays.
Well, that's, I didn't know. Because Fridays are out for you, right? Before 3:30.
Yeah.
Thursdays, appointment dependent, probably, or,
Yeah, that was just a bad week. And
Bad.
normally Thursdays is fine.
okay. Of course, November 6th, I have a kid's doctor's appointment at 3 p.m. that day. But if it's 1:15, 2:15, I could be out of there for that.
Well, if we do November 6th, that's only 2 weeks after the last meeting. We haven't had a school committee meeting since then. That's too soon, right? So we're doing 10/21.
Oh,
want-
because then the meeting
Want
is
the next one to be the week
Monday the
after the
13th.
next school committee meeting, and that's when it's like Veterans Day, Professional Development Day, things.
Yes, it is. And then the conference too.
Right.
Yeah. I guess let's just stick with October 21st and say we'll try to aim for the week after full meeting, but we'll have to see how November shakes out a bit more with
Yeah, once we have some
timings
actual
of stuff.
yeah, okay. That sounds good.
But then you said December 9th is the regular meeting and then the 16th.
December 9th is the regular meeting and the 16th is the as needed meeting.
Mm.
So that's,
I mean, would you want to say like the December 11th?
let's get back into.
Although the agenda would have to be posted before our meeting is over on the Tuesday, the 9th.
Yeah, honestly, I would just say either do the 16th, assuming that we're unlike we generally don't use as needed meetings, or maybe the 17th.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
why don't we
yeah.
say the 16th
Yeah,
at 1:30? And we can always cancel it if
yeah, we'll reevaluate after October 21st.
yeah, so we'll say tentative December 16th. Okay. And then at the 1:15. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'll write up the notes. I don't know if Joe's still there, but I think we can officially wrap up the meeting if you have, unless you have any other.
No, that is it.
Okay, all right. So I will not call the meeting to order. I'll end the meeting officially at 4:39 p.m.